George said that we can start admitting people.
Greetings, everyone. I hope you are all doing very well, wherever you are in the world, and happy Dakini Day. It's so nice to see the global Sangha assembled online once again for this auspicious occasion. My name is Alan, and I'm honored to MC today's Awakening Dignity book launch. Our meeting today should be brief, running no more than 1 hour. So, George, can you briefly display the list of translation channels, if that's convenient? So I just wanted to make you aware before we start that we have 9 languages, 9 language channels today, and they are Chinese, Ukrainian, Portuguese, Spanish, Vietnamese, German, Thai, Indonesian, and French. So I will try to speak slowly for the sake of the translation process. Thank you, George, for that display. So we're delighted that you can join us today as we celebrate the release of Phakchok Rinpoche's latest book, Awakening Dignity, a guide to living a life of deep fulfillment. This book is published by Shambhala and will be available in 2 days, Tuesday, December 20th, in 3 formats. It will be in print, on Kindle, and available through audiobook. As you know, the sheer amount of Dharma published to date is vast, but Awakening Dignity stands out as perhaps the only Dharma text to focally address the important topic of dignity, and it does so in great depth. Rinpoche has recognized how crucial the question of dignity is for 21st century life. Accordingly, this book serves, as one reviewer put it, as, quote, genuine medicine for what ails us. Briefly, dignity is the power that comes from knowing decisively that our heart is noble and our nature is inherently pure. Because our nature is inherently pure, dignity is not something we can lose, but it is something that we can lose contact with. When that happens, we may have negative feelings toward ourselves and difficulties in our relationships with others. In this book, Phakchok Rinpoche teaches us how to understand, contact, recognize, and stabilize our own inherent dignity, all the while guiding us through this process with a progressive series of contemplative exercises. The result is to deeply transform how we understand ourselves and relate with the world. Suchen Wu, who is known in this book as Sophie Wu, collaborated with Rinpoche, working diligently to bring Rinpoche's teachings to life and make them clear and accessible to a wider audience. Awakening Dignity has an impressive list of endorsers, including Zongzar Khyentse Rinpoche, Mingyur Rinpoche, and Sokni Rinpoche. And in addition, Joan Halifax, Sharon Salzberg, Richard Davidson, Jan Willis, and Kit Delorier. Rinpoche's book has already received extremely positive reviews from renowned non-Buddhist publications, such as Publishers Weekly and Library Journal. And we're happy to announce that Awakening Dignity is soon to be translated into Chinese, with expected publication by the end of next year. We aspire for the book to be translated into additional languages in the near future. Awakening Dignity has tremendous potential to help a wide range of people, both practitioners and non-practitioners alike. At the end of today's program, We will offer suggestions for how you can help to actualize that potential. But now let us lend our full attention to Phakchok Rinpoche, who has kindly offered to give us a brief teaching on dignity. Afterward, as time permits, I will read some of your submitted questions for Rinpoche to answer. So Rinpoche-la, thank you for your kindness in bestowing these teachings upon us. We ask you now, Rinpoche-la, please turn the wheel of Dharma.
Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Zanje Rimbo Jalo Zoro Dudo Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Dudraji Kula Sorvat Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Dejan Lonjo Zove Kula Sorvat Dudo Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Tuje Kribe Kula Sorvat Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Zanje Rimbo Jalo Sorvat Dudo Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Dudraji Kula Sorvat Dudo Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Dejan Lonjo Zove Kula Sorvat Dudo Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Tuje Kribe Kula Sorvat Dudo Manam Gadanya Bezim Jandam Lama Zanje Rimbo Jalo Sorvat Desoma Namgadanya Besim Jantam Jelama Turaji Gula Survan Desoma Namgadanya Besim Jantam Jelama Dejan Lonjo Zobe Gula Survan Desoma Namgadanya Besim Jantam Jelama Tuji Rubi Gula Survan Deso. I like to welcome everybody today. This platform, I like to talk about Awakening a Dignity book, and why they came out this book. Actually, my own spiritual journey, you can say, or my own life. I'm very fortunate to meet many great practitioners and many great role models or really great people. So, and my own self, as usual, with many of us, with a baggage of habits and very busy and caught into your own self-observation and all these kind of modern and general problems, such as judgmental, worry about the people's opinion, not being confident, very unsteady. Then, of course, then you have extra anger and all that comes out after. So, through my transformation in my life, I saw gentle by gentle transformation. Still, I have a long way to go, but I can see the transformation through variety of teachings. So one of the teachings that really touched my heart, and I actually tried my best to practice, is actually the called dignity practice. So the dignity practice is you need to start with the one principle, the first principle. No matter your background, have religious or non-religious or whatever nature you have a belief or not belief, or spiritual or not spiritual, just as any being, any human being. that very important, what we need to remember and remind is our nature, nature of our body, nature of our feeling, nature of our thoughts, nature of our speech, nature of our mind. Basically, all the experiences that we have, the sense, that nature, the core, the essence, is absolutely uncorrupted by our bad habits, negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative memories. Nature never corrupted at all. So, make it very short, we need to remember that our nature is pure, our nature is perfect. So, beginning, it took time because I never saw, I never experienced. So it's very difficult to really, actualize and become more steady. So what happened is, it is a very normal. I know that almost everybody going to go through this that journey, because we are not familiarized. We never taught. We never introduced that our core, our essence, and our nature is actually perfect. So how to begin with that is, first we need to reflect. So we need to learn to reflect our actions and our habits. So for that, the second part of the principle, just knowing and reminding our nature is perfect, is not really enough, because our keep judgment habit, it comes in and creates a lot of extra emotions, negative emotions, and sadness and happiness and all that through judgment habits, judgment mind. So what we need to do is we need to learn to notice, but not to judge. So that distinguishing these two is one of the most important principles to improve our dignity, path of dignity. Now, for my own self, I took many years to develop, because I was a very judgmental person, very much judgmental person. When you are more educated, a little bit more survivable, in better in survival, you have some smart in the street, you know how to articulate words, you know how to treat people to survive. That kind of nature that we are, that is the world where we live in. What happened is our judgment becomes so high level that we actually forgot how to learn to develop. That noticing can be actually a very great survival tool, but we able to know to improve that, but part of our quality, but we actually held on and completely become habit into our judgment mind. So the differences in these two is very important. Noticing is just to see positive and negative and see the differences. For example, when somebody is speaking very harshly, you need to notice that this person is speaking harshly. But judgment, what happened is when somebody speaks very harshly, and not only just you knowing the person is harshly, but you actually creating, you dislike the person, then you add additional. I didn't do anything wrong. Nobody done wrong. Why the person is very disrespect. I have my own right, and all the extra additionals, thoughts, and many change of thoughts, change a chain of thoughts, and creates negative reactions. And that really comes, when I speaking is a very kind of slow, but when it comes in level of the speed in your mind, it goes in second. That is how fast we actually judge and have emotions. So that's why it's a very difficult to noticing and not to judge. So all the things that we learn, whether you do meditation or whatever, very important to learn to noticing and not to judge. So how? The first is you're keeping the principle. Principle means you remember, okay, I'm not going to judge. I'm judging. You need to notice, oh, I'm now judging because I have extra emotions. So I don't want to judge now. Okay, I've stopped now. Exhale my breath. So, okay, I don't want to go forward. So you kind of full stop. It's a little bit artificial, but it's going to be good enough for beginning. So you want to learn more about that. You want to learn more about that, then you really need to get the book. Yeah, because the whole idea, they came out with the book because I don't need to explain repeatedly again and again. So the book is there for you for guidance. So we have one saying. There was a great master, his name is Phakchok Rinpoche, Gampopa, over 900 years ago, more than 900 years ago. He's disciple of Milarepa. Is one of the most well-known teacher in meditation tradition in Tibet. Phakchok Rinpoche have one book called Jewel Ornament of Liberation. And he actually said, in the future disciples, that you're going to be feel sad that you're not going to meet me personally because I'm already gone physically. Don't worry, because I have this book written for you. When you see this book and apply this teaching, it's equally you meeting me. Because when you meet me, I'm going to say the same thing, what I written in the book. Likewise, for the dignity teachings and dignity practice is so important, whether it's a spiritual or not spiritual, just in the normal life. But many of us, we actually neglected the part of the most important quality of dignity. Now, we all heard about meditation. We all heard about compassion. We all heard about yoga practices, physical yoga practices. But we hardly hear about training a dignity. Now, the problem I see is this. You can have a compassion, but when you don't have no confidence, you don't have no dignity or confidence, the compassion actually does not have the potential to act. So your compassion cannot improve a limitless potential in impact from the compassion, because the really impact comes is actually from the confidence and dignity. Likewise, people who do meditation, you really want to improve meditation, improvement, comfortably, smoothly, and very gently you want to improve without any hard work. I think one of the most important quality for the meditation is actually dignity. So many things in life is actually comes down to dignity. Many of us, we have a lot of self-observation, self-focus, self-protection, self-observe. Why? Because that is the only tool mental, emotional tool that we know to protect. When you have a dignity, a confidence, we don't need to be self-focused, self-observed, and self-protection, because the dignity itself is the greatest armor of our own mind and our own personality. Because of we actually forgotten completely, that's why reintroducing takes time, and takes time on developing the practices. And they're going to have a journey. Your loved ones, your friends, your family members, and people who are surrounding you can challenge on your confidence and your dignity. And that time is really useful. Read the book and find the different methods and tools that mentioned in the text, in the book, and you apply that independently and see how it's effective, how to, learn to apply different methods and go into your right path in your life. Now, most important part is we always talk about confidence or dignity, but then we talk about pride. And I want to say the different. Pride have very fragile, actually, but at the same time, pride is a naturally self-observation. Is actually very much quality of pride. So it's actually high maintenance. It's quite high maintenance. When you're really proud person, it's not that easy. It's quite tiring to be very proud. But we become so used to do it, you don't feel tired, but physically and emotionally you stress out. But when you have the dignity, when you have confidence shine through dignity, what happens is that kind of self-maintenance and self-observation, the high maintenance and self-observation, the pride, when it is subside, what happens is you actually become much more relaxed. You not really interfere by people's opinion. You're not going to take personally. Means dignity and confidence actually is a very steady. It's actually one of the most I cannot say powerful, but very strength. The strength is a very, very high level strength. It's not a very low level, easy to break like pride. So dignity is actually, I can compare like a diamond, the strength of the diamond. But please don't mistaken that the dignity is a part of ego, part of me. But that's not like dignity is actually the nature of all. Our body, our speech, and our mind and emotions. Whether it is negative emotions, whether it's a positive emotions, nature is always perfect and nature is always clean and pure. Now, we need to learn to remember and remind, almost like a regular mantra. They have one Hindu mantra that I really sometimes like. They go Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Shanti means calm down, peaceful. So I think really important mantra, I feel these days, this age, is actually called your nature is perfect. My nature is perfect. My nature is pure. Now, in the book, they're going to explain many different ways, very beautifully. But I want to say one thing I think is important for me to tell you. Now that nature is perfect and clean, the question comes out very naturally, automatically. Who created this? Am I created this? Am I creating now, or somebody created? And the answer is this: nature is uncreated. You did not create it, no one created. Nature is always, how you say, inseparably there. Yeah, but it's not created. When it's created, then it's not nature. Yeah, so that I think important, I want to highlight. So when you feel more improvement, you improve on more like a noticing, your judgment is more kind of subside, little bit reduce, or you can say transform. Your pride is a little bit more or less, you self-observe or taking personally easily, that kind of thing, pattern and habits become reduced. Then what happens is very easy to arise. Many of our compassion actually is what we really hungry for our own self. We do practice compassion, but we actually hungry for our own self for compassion. So that's why our compassion actually, on my own experience, the compassion is not a really genuine compassion, because that compassion is always little bit of self-observe, self-flesh, connected, selfish compassion. But it's not really obvious, but dignity, you're more comfortable to dignity. When you practice compassion, the compassion is already, everything is going to be towards all the beings, other beings, but you don't need to always focus to yourself. So that I feel is a very big difference. Then the fear of spiritual practices, uncomfortable of certain practices in spiritual, all that going to be disappear when you develop more cautious and more gradually on practicing dignity. Please check yourself right now, that look at yourself and reflect yourself. We think we're very tough, somebody here. Somebody think I'm very, very weak. Don't look at that part of the I'm very weak or I'm very strong, I'm very normal, but go beyond that. The nature of that actually is the pure. So right now, we cannot experience this because we don't have the method to that. But slowly, gradually, you know what does really mean nature is pure. I want to say a little bit now, what does really mean pure, naturally pure? That actually means all the afflictions, all the sufferings, all the cause of sufferings is never there into the nature. The afflictions, cause of sufferings, the suffering never touch the nature, never dilute the nature, and never actually presence in the nature. That's why we say pure. So now, slowly, gradually, when you go through the different exercise and practices and slowly you improve, then you need to learn how to gradually improve, more steady on the dignity and more steady and confident. How do you know? They have many different ways to practice, but you need different components. Like anything, you have a tea, you want to drink a tea, you need to have a water, you have a tea, you need to have fire to boil the water, and you need to have a cup to drink. Like that, you need to have different components together. So you want to improve the noticing and reducing judgment. You want to gain dignity, that kind of thing. You need different components. The first components that I think very important is to reflect. But reflect with a very healthy way. Notice, but don't judge. Then learn to do some different techniques of meditation. Then improvement on compassion. But then compassion must really need to be improved. Compassion need to be genuine. Practice the compassion to all the other beings, but not need to be focused towards yourself or holding on the meritorial. In many Buddhists, we are attached to meritorial, and some spiritual, they are, attached with experiences. And some other people, they are attached to, transformation, changing, chemically, healthy, all that kind of qualities of practicing compassion. When you have that kind of in the mind, what happens is actually dilutes the compassion. So the compassion itself need to be present, but without any diluting of all the benefits, whether you are a spiritual practitioner or religious practitioner or non-believers, no matter what, we have a lot of attachment. What is going to be result of the practicing compassion? So that I really think is very important. Have a baseline is the dignity, because when you have nature is pure, you're not really looking for other qualities and benefits. So that's why the nature is pure, is the one of the baseline, one of the really greatest component to improve the compassion, to really improve in the highest level and to be active and perfected the compassion. You really need to have dignity. Now, no matter what we practice in life, whatever spiritual practice, we really need to understand we can do it. We can change. We can transform. We can help others. We can help myself, but we can help others. When you look at the word, I can help myself, that question, that wish itself is ignorant. Because why is ignorant? I can help myself means I need to be fixed. That actually itself is the question or wish is actually called ignorant. I really think so. When our nature is pure, I can see, I'm going to say like this, I can transform, I can change. Then more than that, I can see the nature. Yeah. So it's very important. Seeing the nature is perfect, seeing nature is clean, that is a genuine arising the dignity within yourself. And that you don't owe to anyone. That is nature. But you need to owe one body. Of course, you have teacher helping you to transform. That, of course, you need. Like, for example, like me, in this book, one way, majority, of course, some example and some research and all these things is not, my teachers, but many of my explanations and transformation and reflection, all that kind of stuff, is all come from great tradition of a great people the past, generating, giving to me, and I receive, and I'm humbly sharing to you all, to just keeping in one mind that I can really wish that someone can change, and that person can help somebody through their experiences and knowledges. So this is my basic introducing about why it's so important, the dignity, whether you are non-believer, non-spiritual, non-religious, or you are spiritual, or you're religious, or you're a meditator. I think the dignity practice is one of the fundamental important. And I'm here today through my small improvement in life, through my practices and transformations. And I know, I can guarantee you, our nature is really 100% pure. Not only my nature, your nature, and not only your nature, all the being nature is absolutely 100% uncorrupted. So I'm going to say that in a very nice way to, I think, end on my talk. And so I think they have some questions, and I'm going to answer with their questions.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. The first question submitted is, what are the qualities of someone who has dignity? And can you give us some examples, please?
Humbleness, sincere humbleness, genuine, very compassionate. But the compassionate and humbleness must have two qualities. Must have sincere and genuine. Because I've seen it many times in myself. We have this humbleness, but it's not sincere. So it's very important, genuine, sincere, compassionate, that kind of components. And that is the greatest components of a dignifying person. And very steady, very steady.
Okay, thank you, Rinpoche. The next question is, if we become angry with someone and lose contact with our dignity, how can we find it again? What is the best practice for this?
So when we angry to somebody, I think first we need to fix our own anger. Of course, some situations we need to act angrily because we need to fix some situations. We need to scold somebody, sometimes in the normal world, the real world, you can't fix everything just smiling and being nice. Sometimes we need to say something negatively or harshly to fix something. But I realized that when you need to transform, now I angry. So what we need to do is go back. First, you exhale your breath. Don't fix with your anger. Fix your baseline, your state of your mind. So you exhale. After exhale, then you bring up some like noticing what happened, how happened, anger, how that happened into your emotions. Not why happened, how happened. Then you practice some compassion. Then go back to remember my nature is perfect. So it doesn't matter when you're angry just 1 2 hours or a few minutes. It's not going to be greatest end of the world. Yeah. So you can go back, and that is the way to learn to reflect, to check how we can improve. Anger is the least problem actually. In the beginning, anger looks really huge, but anger is one of the easiest to handle negative emotion is actually anger.
Thank you, Rinpoche. How can we maintain dignity in the face of chronic illness and our eventual death?
Don't look the chronic pain and the death as an object or subject, something like that. Just first go on your own transformation. Reconnect back to your nature. The chronic going to be painful, or then you additional fear
additional feeling, additional observation on the pain, what is going to happen, judgment, all that extra emotion is a constantly judgment. See, that's why it's very important, how to deal with fear, how to deal with the death. This kind of things, honestly, sometimes don't take too important. Don't take this kind of importance. Really important is the practice itself. Don't judge. Do noticing. Nature is perfect. Just practice compassion. When you just focus that, majority of the question that you ask actually answered by itself through your experiences. But because you're not focusing the practice, you always want to fix something. They have endless to fix. So practice the heart, the core. Then when the heart, the poison of the heart change, everything going to be changed to be better way. So my answer going to be refocus the practice. The chronic and death, everything going to be answered by the practice self.
Thank you, Rinpoche. If we always see everything from our own experience, is there a possibility that we can ever get outside of our ego? How does this relate to your teachings on dignity?
That's very good. Most important part is we should not attach to experiences. We should not attach to experiences. So I think this question have two level of one is the service answer and one is a deep answer. My service answer is very simple. Don't judge by your experiences, how you do it. Okay? So that's why when it happen good through the practice, not good, don't worry about it. Don't attach to it. Don't attach to negative and positive. Yeah. But the deep sense of the deep, then you need to go more, you need to do meditation basically. But meditation, not just sticking with experience meditation. We need to learn how to actually go beyond our clinging, our perception, and then have a meditation go beyond our perception and clinging. Yeah, that is the one way to see our nature.
Thank you, Rinpoche. What is the relationship between dignity, compassion, and wisdom?
Dignity, I feel like, really for my own feeling, right now, my own observation to myself, dignity is the baseline, the base. The base meaning the where you really sit on. Compassion is like a heart where you react, what kind of wish and feeling. But the wisdom is actually knowing the truth, how to react. So without the dignity, wisdom cannot. Sometimes wisdom don't have the strength to decide. I've seen it, so many people knowledgeable, when they comes to decisiveness, on the practice, sometimes the people who are very educated are not really decisive. Sometimes people really compassionate, I've seen it, but they are similarly not decisive, not really reacted, that. So that's why the dignity is the real component of compassion to react, and the wisdom to be really decisive, to really be basically the compassion and the wisdom to really want to see the result perfectly. The dignity is the component.
Thank you, Rinpoche. The next question is, Rinpoche, some of my motivations are good, compassionate action, benefiting others, and so forth. But on the other hand, some of my motivations are bad, desiring fame, increasing reputation, and so forth. Sometimes it is very hard to separate the two, and I know that my pride is still a big problem. What is your advice on how to improve this?
So what happened is this. You have a good thought, you have bad thought. So now you need to put a scale. They both have 50-50. So now you scale the 50-50. The question is that 50-50. So now what we should do it? That question really answer is the both nature of the scale, whether as a good feeling, a good motivation, or the rather is a bad motivation. The both nature of that is actually perfect. That means naturally the goodness is always heavier because bad thought nature is perfect. That's why many of our modern spiritual practitioners and actually Dharma practitioners and spiritual practitioners or non-practitioners, I tell you, everybody says, oh yeah, very important. I know it's compassion is important. It's really important, good to have good role model, But when it comes to our nature is pure, they always stuck their part. Really? I don't know. The human nature is always, angry and fight and human survival. That is how the species are. We are hunter-gatherer, and see that kind of really shallow level of human mind. You think that mindset is really can improve our internally transformation? You really think? Please think, observe. No, because you already full stop. That is our nature. And that is the biggest obstacle I see in this age practitioners. Who make yourself limited is myself. How? Our nature is really not 100% pure because it's a human nature, Rinpoche. And they try to prove me. I have few students telling me how the human nature is. I say, I know how the human species and all the animals and change to apes and ape change. I understand all that, But right now we're talking about something really universal transformation. And who really stopping us to transformation completely is ourselves, me. So that I really feel is the greatest. That's why this book came out. I think it's really, really important because of that.
Thank you, Rinpoche. The next question. Sometimes my self-hatred is so great that I can't begin to imagine that my nature is pure. What do I do then? How can I turn my mind around on this point?
Poor guy or poor lady, whoever you are, the question, it can be this is a very not really good, not really question. It's just articulate question. The person can be lying to me too online. So doesn't matter. It's a good question. When I had some time in my life that not really self-hated, but not having any goodness that I see that I can transform. So what happened is, don't go practice dignity. Don't go there. First, exhale your breath. Breathe out. Completely bring down your negative thoughts. Exhale. Hold for 2 seconds. Do that. Calm down your that judgment mind. That is a busybody mind. Then from there, then slowly bring out. Because you feel you have too much self-judgment, that is impermanent too. So it's going to change within few hours. Lie down, watch some movie. You can't watch movie, do run away, run, jogging, exercise for 1 hour, come back, feels good. Or take a shower, or do some meditation, whatever. Yeah. Then you practice the dignity. It takes little time for that kind of person, but you can do it.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I think we have 2 more questions. The teachings on no self are always a little perplexing to me. How can I have dignity if I don't exist?
So that is the one reason that I actually saying that dignity is the baseline of the wisdom that when I explaining to all of you. So when you explain to me, I'm not exist, I say, okay, I'm not exist, fine. The nature is pure, that's okay. So I don't mind. Now, for us, for you, for many of us, what happened is me means the I, not the nature, the I. So when you investigate the I completely dissolves. Then you terrify it. Dignity is actually untouched by the I, uncreated by your mind, untouched by negative reflection. So the nature is completely independent, unchanged, uncreated nature. So when you know our body, our speech, our mind, and the emotion, that nature is perfect like that, then why we need to worry about it to losing identity of I? After all, that is kind of non-exist, by the way. So it's very easy. No self practices become so easy to understand when you have dignity. When you don't have no dignity, no self is like terrifying. That's why the dignity training is a baseline of compassion and wisdom. But you need to learn correct way of dignity practice. So get the book.
Thank you, Rinpoche. The last question. What is the relationship between dignity and mindfulness?
Mindfulness is a technique. Dignity is a nature. Now you see the difference? Dignity is the nature. Mindfulness is a technique. That actually what mindfulness should do, mindfulness should help us to bring our negative mind and our busybody mind to calm down, to actually to see the dignity. That is what nature is. But now what happened is we use the mindfulness to reduce the stress, but not to see nature. So mindfulness is a technique. Dignity is nature. It's a big difference. Me and my clothes. How important the clothes and how important me. So mindfulness is a cloth. Focusing to breath is my jumpsuit, swimming suit. Focusing to my feelings, sensation, my therapy suit, tuxedo. All this kind of different. We have I don't know how many techniques. All different techniques. It's like different practices, but to introduce, to realize what this nature is, means the dignity.
Thank you, Rinpoche. So that's all the questions. Do you have anything else that you would like to close with?
In this book, we have meditation, compassion, little bit mindfulness type practice, shamatha type practice. So it's very important to get this book, and honestly, really, but don't read just one time. Read few pages. Practice a little bit, exercise a little bit. See how getting through, seeping in. And one thing I want to let you all know, this book is not came out from my doing some research, other books, how to say this, that, what I'm saying there here, all my speeches is majority I explaining, giving teachings, and practicing myself, what are given to me by my teacher, practicing how much I can. Then our Professor Suchen listen and put it all right down and show to me. And actually, she did such a good job that actually the book is sounds better than me. My English is not so good. Sometimes I don't know how to put all the things, that I want to put. But the books actually put it quite a well done job. So really, this is not theory. That is what I want to say to you all. Please, this is not my theory. It's not my belief. It is actual. So awakening dignity is not awakening theory, not awakening belief, is not awakening religion, is awakening dignity, awakening nature, reconnect to our own nature. Okay, so I'm very happy to speak about the book and launching the book today, the day of Dakini. I know it's a little bit early announcement, but I'm very happy that you all, come here and listen, and please read and thoroughly, and we can discuss more in the future. And thank you very much. And all the contents are really beautiful name. Making friends with sticky mind. How beautiful that is. Sticky mind. So I'm really hoping that can be benefit to you all. And thank you very much, Alan, Suchen, and all our translators. And I really wish can be benefit to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rinpoche, for these teachings today and for the wonderful collection of teachings in this book, which show us how to transform ourselves at the deepest, most fundamental level. So precious. So thank you so much. Yeah. I also want to thank and recognize our team of skilled interpreters, Kathy, Andrei, Anita, Marcella, Hung, Arna, Sukanya, Nikki, and Harvey. I also want to acknowledge the hard work of our Zoom team for staging this event, especially George and Monica. If you haven't already ordered your copy of Awakening Dignity, there are several options. You can get the book through the publisher, which is Shambhala, as well as Amazon, Barnes & Noble, IndieBound, and the Book Depository. Of course, we want to benefit as many people as possible through exposure to Rinpoche's teachings on dignity, and it's in this spirit that we ask you to consider, as an offering for these precious teachings, purchasing additional copies of Rinpoche's new book to distribute among family, friends, and whoever might be interested. In addition, please consider making a social media post about the book, and it can be especially effective to post a photo of yourself holding your own copy of the book after you receive it. In addition, there will soon be an Awakening Dignity Facebook page. If you could please like and follow that, that would be a help. You can consider posting positive reviews of the book on Amazon.com or on Goodreads. And you might encourage your local library to order a copy. Finally, use your own imagination to come up with other ideas, and please share them with us, your Dharma brothers and sisters. So again, thank you so much, Rinpoche. These teachings are so precious. Words cannot convey our gratitude. This concludes the Awakening Dignity book launch. I'm so happy you could attend today. If you're about to watch the World Cup final, may the dakinis bring about the result that will most benefit your practice. Now we can unmute ourselves, thank Rinpoche, and say hello to one another for a few minutes. Goodbye, everybody.
Is it Zoom two-way?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.